Hello, everybody, and welcome to Heathen Cantina's presentation of Reality Bites, our Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition actual play set in the 1990s. We're glad you could join us tonight. Very, very excited about this. It's a trip down memory lane. It's more than a healthy serving of nostalgia and some darkness. I am very fortunate to be joined by an amazing cast, and I would like to have them introduce themselves. I'll pick the start, they'll pick their victim, ever so appropriate for our subject matter, and they will share with you their favorite vampire movie. Now, I didn't decide who was going to go first before, so it's as much of a surprise to them as it is to me. I could roll dice, but there are no d4s here, just caltrops. So I'm going to start the way the layout starts and start with, well, we'll start with Arthur. Tell us about your character. You know, the ones and twos, the basics, the bits, the bops, and then tell us about your favorite vampire movie and why.
Mm, mm. Hey y'all, I'm Arthur. Tonight I'll be playing the part of Jane Lane. Uh, Jane is a punk rocker from back in the day, um, turned into a bruja by a rando large Marge type trucker who thought there needed to be a little bit more chaos in the world. Um, Jane has been sent off to find her way at the tender age of 16, although she's now 26 and is trying to figure out how to make the world a less shitty place, um, even amongst the fact that sci-fi is not real, but fucking vampires are. So here we are. Um, Looking forward to it. Glad to be here. My favorite vampire movie, I'm gonna have to go Near Dark. Near Dark hit me at a tender age. I don't know how old I was when I saw it, but I had to be early mid-teens, I'm pretty sure. Um, Near Dark was gritty in a way that Aliens was gritty. It grabbed me. It let me know the realities of being a predator who was constantly under threat of death and in a lot of ways a very junky style existence that they lived, um, almost like outlaw biker gangs. And as a relatively sheltered young person, that was dark and amazing and enlightening, and led me to even want to play things like Vampire in the first place. So here we are. Uh, yeah. Next up, I'm going to go Fesnerax. Why don't you tell us a story?
Uh, this is such a hard question for me. But like, I
Well,
love.
don't forget, tell us about your character first.
Oh yeah, yeah, true. Good point. I'm playing Beckett. Beckett is a pretentious, really pretentious record store owner, Toreador. Beckett was a a wild child in a cult in upstate New York, who was just fucking like let loose and not supervised, and went to some dark places and ended up what they are. Um, Man, in terms of favorite vampire movie, I love The Addiction. I love Only Lovers Left Alive, but completely against the grain of the character that I'm playing. My favorite might still be What We Do in the Shadows. Uh, I had such a I saw the premiere of that movie at Sundance with like Taika Waititi there and Jermaine there, and like they weren't that famous back then, and it was just like it was like what the fuck is this movie? Um, and I'll never forget it, and I will bring some apathetic humor to the show, but was I the most serious character? I'm not sure.
I
We're gonna
think
see
it's
what
inevitable
happens.
that we have comparisons to what we do in the shadows.
Oh, we have to. Absolutely have to.
Modern
I'm gonna
myths.
kick it over to Nick. Sorry, buddy.
Hi, I'm Nick or Unichronic. I'm playing Teddy Graves, Gangrel. He is proudly queer Gangrel. As he was coming to form, the Pink Panthers of New York City came to mind. This fag bashes back would be um like a phrase that really identifies with Teddy. Now he works as a bouncer at a local gay bar, the Underground. My favorite vampire movie, probably Let the Right One In. Also probably one of my favorite vampire books. It's a sweet by a Swedish author. I can't remember their name. It's just very creepy and reminds you that being a vampire is a terrible, unholy thing. Sandy.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Sandy. I'm going to be portraying Barbara, our 20-ish Malkavian who's fairly recently turned. She is a college student. She, until somewhat recently, had been very focused on keeping her grades up and hopefully landing a really sweet internship somewhere, but things have gone a little bit off the rails, which I'm sure our intrepid game master will unveil shortly. Favorite movie? This is tricky. So if you'll let me cheat and pick a not movie, I'm going to say Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And yes, that was a movie. And no, I just couldn't click with the movie. Watched it again after the series and still couldn't get in on that movie. But the series, fabulous, complicated, especially the musical episodes. Whoever doesn't appreciate a musical vampire show, I don't know if we could be friends.
Get out
But
now.
But it must be a movie. I'm going to say Lost Boys, if only because there are not one but two Corys in that one, including my favorite Cory is a child of the 80s, Corey Feldman. And I mean, who doesn't appreciate just some 80s vampire absurdity with Kiefer Sutherland in it? Like, come on. Like, is it the best? Probably not, but that's entertaining as shit.
That dude is so weird looking.
No, for real. Plays a great vampire. Played perfect. Fuck it, I don't know what he is. Perfect.
It's like, yeah, you look only vaguely human. Perfect.
He could only play an '80s vampire, though. It wouldn't.
No, that's
in
fair.
Any
That's
other
fair.
decade, I don't think.
Yeah, I think that is reasonable.
It's like Fabio and Anne Rice had a baby.
That is not how I wanted to close this little bit here. This is
You're welcome, Tom. You invited us all here.
I know. And now I want to be wearing a mesh shirt, have a physique, and be playing a saxophone on the beach as there's pyrotechnics at a carnival for no good reason.
That man did not have a mess shirt. I recently rewatched that.
Okay.
Preparation.
No shirt.
Just oiled up.
No
just
shirt.
glistening and pecs and a surprising amount of like bondage kind of inspired stuff, but no mesh shirt. It was just all nip.
Well, you know.
They should have gone mesh. I feel like they
Yeah.
they missed a.
It was a
Well,
meshed
that's another
opportunity. Oh boy.
Heyo!
Hey, if you're going to talk
Welcome,
about Fabio and Anne Rice having a love child to set the tone for our vampire shenanigans,
I feel like Saxman could also fit that bill.
he could, yeah. And he'd
Yeah.
have fewer encumbrance penalties if he had a proper webbing to carry all that in.
I don't know if a mesh shirt is proper webbing. I don't know how a load bearing.
Depends on the mesh.
Depends on the load.
Load bearing. See, now it sounds like our other game, and the members only island.
And I thought saxophones were homoerotic.
Don't worry, they are. But have you ever seen the real meaning of a French horn? I always felt bad saying French horn. I wanted to make sure that anybody in earshot heard the N, so that I wasn't thought to be a cad.
Don't insult French sex.
Exactly. Well, I mean,
Sure, they're hardworking ladies. No
Um,
offense.
a little brassy for my tastes. Okay. So we're going to start with music puns. We're going to end with music puns, and I promise there will be more music puns. We have a character, a part of our cast. There's a few music buffs, let's put it that way. I think the challenge was to try to out-weird each other at some point. At least I didn't get the memo, but I think my players have been in communication without me. I'm glad for it. I'm glad for it. We're going to open tonight with the person that I believe, Sandy, you said that Barbara was fairly new. I'm going to say that given how long vampires live and how rough the transition to an entirely nocturnal predatory existence is, you're unfairly new to it.
I
The-
would concur. I was not expecting to become a vampire.
No, you were back and forth about some of your character's family, and oh wow, oh snaps for puns in chat.
Oh,
A cliffhanger. That would be more trouble than it's worth. Forget them simultaneous, you win a no prize. It's the Marvel Comics Stan Lee, rest in peace, no prize. You were a little back and forth about whether or not you were an only child. I noticed some of our earlier notes and some of our notes from our last pre-show meeting. And I like that uncertainty, so we may play around with that. If your character has a brother, and I think they do, but I think it
I
illustrates
think so too.
that you're the
I
favorite.
think he's younger. I think I was maybe a little bit younger. I was an only child for a little bit, so I think Barbara's gotten a lot of expectations poured into her from her newly settled parents. But yeah, I think she does have a brother who hasn't who's seen the our parents as they're a little bit more settled and hasn't been under the same pressure that I was.
I think part of it is they tried to pressure him to perform academically in the same ways that they did for you, but it didn't stick. And part of it was because it had gained traction with you. So, no parent plays favorites, no parent picks their favorite. In this case,
But they all have a favorite.
it's more of, well, he's doing the best he can. He's still in school, but he's not in a prestigious program like you are. He's not, a State University of New York at Buffalo honors student with all of having taken all of the courses to qualify for either pre-med or pre-med with an emphasis in psychiatry, psychology. So it made sense that you were doing intern work till 9, 10 o'clock at the Psych Center, the Buffalo Psychiatric Center, a fabulous piece of architecture. Please Google it on your own time. Spare us the intellectual property infringement. It is a twin-spired, oxidized green, copper patina, dual-steepled edifice is the best way to describe it. Now, the more modern facilities that you're visiting were built in the 60s with the post-brutalist brickwork architecture. The old structure is owing to a different time, and it is said by locals and college students that cut through to get to the good eateries through the campus because it's a rather porous psych center if you know where to go. And even when they lock it up, the steam tunnels do connect the college campus to the psych center. And down there we can still find Tom Hanks to this day ruining the good name of Dungeons and Dragons. How could you? Redstone, copper-roofed Victorian insane asylum. Yes, absolutely. It is... Oh, we gotta get a little correction going here. Gotta fix the name. Let's call this Reality Bites Episode 1. I don't like to pre-name campaigns or pre-name sessions because I don't think it works for this kind of game.
We tend to improvise, and a lot of good things come from that.
Well,
Tom
this-
might disagree on how good some of them are, but I enjoy our improvisational approach.
I think we're going to be
Nice.
just fine. I'm going to go ahead and drop in some tags. Please.
Welcome everyone, especially the
So
chat. I'm
glad.
glad you're here. So glad to be here. Glad to be playing a new system. Glad to be playing with the same people. I love it here. Thank you for joining.
So good.
Yeah, it's good to be. It's good to be back at it, y'all. It's been a hiatus, it's been some ups and downs, but it's good to be back.
It's been a minute.
Absolutely. I know there's going to be no shortage of vamping. We can just hope
So to
that Grace
speak.
Jones shows up.
Dude,
Another-
if that,
More
if
musical
that bitch
references.
is the Prince of Buffalo, I will lose my mind.
Well, then everybody gets a free level in Malkavian. That's not how it works, and we know it. Thanks for the subscription. All right, everybody. Kicking it off, as is tradition with every campaign, with an Arrogant Bastard Ale. No, we do not receive any sponsorship from them. I just enjoy its satisfying bitterness. To finish an Arrogant Bastard Ale is to be a GM. Finish it before it gets stale. I want to say that having cut through the grounds of the Buffalo Psychiatric Center many times, it was a far different experience at night. The shadows were longer, the trees seemed more menacing, and had a bit of a canopy where you would walk below them and struggle to see the sky. The fence you hoped you could still get through because it looked like it would be disastrous, lacerating to hop. 3 weeks ago, Barbara was among the living and would usually leave the grounds by 8:30, 9 o'clock at the latest. A little earlier some nights when there's inclement weather, and it being Buffalo in March 1995, March 9th is when we'll start. So for February, yeah, it was brutally cold. There was a lot of snow, and it was, the best way to describe it is freeze your snot inside your head cold. A special kind of cold people in the Great Lakes and mountains know, and everybody on this call has experienced. You were among the living and working with someone you thought was a resident, a patient being cared for in a program receiving treatment, had a room here. They were in the non-violent section. That's where you were. Nobody here was, sacked out on Thorazine or bound. The residents were free to engage in activities. There were board games, there were books, there was even an easel with some painting. They would circle the chairs and do group sessions where they talked. Some of them were even looking forward to being transferred to a different facility. There's some resident homes being built on the grounds that will help people transition to a life outside and outside in the real world. Some had been greeting that with a little bit of trepidation, but some, it didn't seem like it was going to be an option, at least for a while. And you had been working with them, Barbara. One of them, you weren't sure what their chart said. You always seemed to get distracted before you could find their chart. But they seemed to exhibit a different set of, symptoms. And the DSM-4 didn't have any answers for you. But you still checked, and some nights they seemed to be putting on airs as just a neurotic, with, as it was called then, just with various fixations and fidgets. Another night they seemed rather disassociated and barely paying attention to you. And on the night you were made into what you are now, They were wearing a lab coat. And you thought some of the other residents had been putting you on because they referred to him as doctor. And he leaned over and looked at you, his neatly groomed beard. It's been scragglier in nights past, but on this night, it seems like he cleaned up. He had a tie under a lab coat and a clipboard and a badge. And he was not wearing a stethoscope around his neck, but he did have the earpieces poking up out of a rather oversized lab coat pocket. And just as you looked around the group session for him, you'd heard him called Bert. You knew him as Richards, something else you heard people call him, but now they were referring to him as Doctor. And he said, now that we're all here, we can begin a most wholesome group activity. I want everyone to close their eyes. And he looks right at you, and you can tell that he means for you not to close your eyes. But without breaking eye contact with you, Barbara, he says, now picture yourself in a darkened room. The edge of this room seems to go on forever. And in your peripheral vision, Barbara, all the other residents have closed their eyes. But when he says that, in your peripheral vision, you can see that some of them have become uncomfortable, and their posture has changed. And he continues. You can define where the room ends. And at any time, you can turn on the lights. You need only open your eyes. And you look around, and none of them have opened their eyes. In fact, some of them have sunk down in their chairs a little. And he leans over and says, I'm writing a grant. This has been research, and I'll need your help. Will you help me?
Yes.
Okay.
It sounds like important research. We need this grant.
Come with me. This will hold. And he motions to the group, and the apparent hypnotic state that he's introduced them to. Now, you've done some guided meditation, some visualizations. That wasn't a particularly good one. That wasn't even immersive enough. He didn't go into details. He didn't take the time. But it does seem to have had the effect. The next hour is a bit of a blur as he reveals to you that he's Dr. Burton Richards and that he's been conducting research in this wing for some time. He remembers when this building was built and some of the residents were relocated from the other building. He does not look old enough to be a doctor of those years. But this persona that he's wearing, and now you're sure of it, this must be multiple personalities. Each personality likely to have a different malady, but perhaps this is the core personality or the personality that believes in itself. You're not sure. But this pathos is one you want to study. And then at once you recall breaking away from an embrace. And that was 3 weeks ago. The next night, you rose and you were still in the psych center. And your memories are a bit fragmented there. Confronting him seemed inevitable. The very next night, he says, this will be easier for you to adopt once you feed. I can show you how. You'll figure it out on your own. But for safety, you should let me help you with that too. He says as if he's done you a favor. He's cast you into this
Feed?
life.
Help? What are you talking about?
How do you think I've been a doctor here since the 1950s? He looks to be in his mid-30s.
No, I understand that you've been a doctor here since the 50s. Feed? What are you talking about?
He's wearing the lab coat again and grabs the stethoscope by the earpieces and tosses it to you. Go on. Listen.
To what? I don't understand. Put the stethoscope on. I'm holding it. Listen to. I probably go lean in to take his vitals.
No.
Keep nothing. Yeah, I'm not in the wrong spot. There's.
He holds it and says, "Don't worry, this works." But it's very loud and personal and inside your ears.
Okay.
Try.
So I check. Oh shit. Wait. No.
And as
Hang
he
on.
smiles, you notice his eye teeth, his canines,
Wait.
are a little longer than they should be, and yours are pointier than they were the night before.
No, what the hell? What's this? No, this. I can't. This can't possibly be.
You came in here
This makes no sense.
with a curious spirit and a desire to know about the psychological states of existence. Now you have time to figure it out.
I have time.
Hmm.
I have time. What?
Oh! And he hands you your beeper. And you realize you didn't talk to your mother yesterday night, letting her know you made
Oh,
it
shit.
home all right.
Oh, she's freaking out.
There's 4 pages from your brother. She wouldn't call your pager because she watches TV. That's what drug dealers do. So she has your brother do it.
I'm laughing because there was a time a handful of years ago my mom was convinced I was dead, and instead of calling me herself, she made my brother call me.
I
That's
did not
what I
know that.
I know.
just
I
know-
wasn't
Good
dead.
fact.
I wasn't dead.
Well,
This time, turns out Barbara's kind of
Or
dead.
undead.
Heyo! But she was dead first.
you'll
As far as her,
probably...
I don't think her mom is going to understand the complexities. I'm pretty sure her Polish Catholic mom or Ukrainian Catholic mother is no, she's not going to understand this. This is probably worse than death, according to her.
And you're probably going to miss church.
Like forever.
Shit.
But don't worry, it's gonna work out. It's gonna be fine.
Oh, yeah, great. Dr. Burton with his multiple personalities has reassured me. Great. And I
Well,
don't have a heartbeat.
at
Yeah,
least-
no,
at
this is
least
gonna
the
go
Dr.
great. This is
Burton
gonna go great. I'm not
personality.
panicking at all. I'm not panicking at all. This is gonna be fucking fabulous. I don't have a heartbeat. I can't go to church. My mom is freaking out. I'm worse than dead.
No, dead
Okay.
is much worse.
Okay.
Dead is much worse.
No, but I'm still on track for that position, right? That'll still work out. No, this is fine. This is a hiccup. I'll be able to take that offer that I got at that prestigious teaching hospital at Johns Hopkins. I can. No, it's fine. It's fine. It'll be a little complicated, but it's fine. It'll be fine.
Sunlight allergy. It'll be fine.
I could make some arrangements if you still want to complete your doctorate. I might be able to help there. I can
Of course-
put you
of
on a
course I
wing
do.
at Millard Fillmore. I was given permission to do this a long time ago.
Permission? What? What are? No, no, absolutely not. This is insane. I've had a psychotic break. I'm going home. I'm leaving. That's it. I'm out.
Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. So you leave and rush to where? Where do you go that first night as the dead?
What did my what all was in that 3 pages of crap my brother sent me?
Call home, call mom. Are you okay? And the last one is there was no message on the last one.
So I think I just run out of the psych ward, get away from this crazy nutbag. Yeah, probably get to the payphone in the dorms.
So you
What's
start
the
to
phone situation at 95 on campus.
no.
So
There's
I want to page him back and basically have to ask him to tell them I'm fine.
Where
Super
you-
busy with school.
Yeah, where you are, it might be quicker to go to Elmwood Avenue. There's a payphone at the corner there.
Yeah. Okay.
That
I went
might
over
be
to
the-
Elmwood
the,
and
the better bit because
page
you're
my
closer to
brother
that
back.
side. Mhm.
yeah, and tell him, no, tell mom I'm fine. Just got caught up with school. Something came up in the psych ward, but no worry.
So you connect with him. He calls the phone right back and says, and you could hear a whole bunch of noise in the background, the sound of like metal clanging on metal, and you know he's at work. He's a fry cook. He's a short order cook at a sandwich place way up Elmwood in a neighborhood called Allentown, and he works in like a steak hoagie place. And he's like, "What did you do? Are you in Toronto? Did you get like stuck at the border?"
You know what, man? No, I'm not you. I'm at school. Like I said, just some stuff came up in the lab the other night. It's a little bit hectic right now, but no, like you see, I'm fine. I'm me, right?
Is this what being 19
Not
is
to
like?
worry.
Because it's pretty lucky. I would be so grounded. Mom's coming to pick me up tonight. Do you want to, where are you?
I'm at, like I said, I'm at school. It's just been like I said, it's complicated. It's a whole thing, but it's like, don't worry, it's fine. It's fine. Just
Oh,
extra
This-
coursework, extra workload. No
Uh-huh.
worries. Tell mom.
right. Totally not banging a professor. I get it. Okay, call mom.
Okay, fine. Tell mom I'm banging a professor. I'm totes banging a professor. Yep,
You-
that's it.
you
That's
tell her. We
exactly
got-
what it is.
We got to rush. He hangs up.
He's not going to tell mom I'm just banging a professor. I'm not getting out of this that easy. Tell mom I'm banging a professor. Don't tell her I've been turned to undead.
Well,
That's
you didn't
defo
tell him
worse
that.
than
He
banging a
doesn't know.
professor.
No one in your family at this point. if
No.
you're- no one knows yet.
No one but me.
So far.
Like I think just me and Dr. Burton.
Maybe some other folks, but yes.
Whoever he's shared this with, I suppose.
So
Whoever's
you're
picked up
standing
on it.
there and you hear a voice that seems to come out of nowhere. You did not realize somebody was behind you. And you hear, "Are you done with that?"
Yeah. Sorry.
And it's a
And
young woman about your age, but she seems to be dressed for some sort of adventure. Leather miniskirt, spaghetti straps, leather jacket over it. Entirely inappropriate attire. Fishnets and boots, because nobody's rocking heels on the black snow. The black ice will take you the hell out faster than a Cyberpunk game. But people still underdress for the weather and then get inside and drink heavily. She's like, "I have to call a cab. Do you mind?" And she moves in and goes, "Ah." She looks and there's a faded sticker on the inside of the phone booth, and she just hits a bunch of sevens on the phone. Yeah. Out in front of Good Bar. All right. Just me. Unless I can talk her. Yeah, two. All right. All right, bye. And she turns and walks up a couple of blocks, and she goes to stand in front of a place called Mr. Goodbar. There's a lot of neon on this street, and it's glaring a little brighter than it used to, and there was something about the way she smelled when she crossed by you and you caught scent of stale beer, cigarettes, hairspray, and that's it. It was like the smells a person would be wrapped in, but not. You didn't smell her. You smelled what was clinging to her from where she came from. Curious quality of warm air indoors, cold air outside, and leather clothing. It does that. Are you gonna call your mom? Payphone's free.
No.
You still got 2 quarters left.
I'm not calling my mom. I'm absolutely not calling my mom. I can't bullshit my way through that. Not calling my mom. There's
Okay.
no possible universe in which I'm calling my mother. No,
Okay.
absolutely not.
No, totally. It's dark.
We are hiding because Barbara is still convinced she can totes handle this. It is a minor upset.
I am here
Words
for your
for career
chances.
goals.
I love your chances. Would you like to make the first dice roll of the campaign?
Let's get after it.
Because I think this calls for, a little thing I like to call perception. So the way perception works is you have different things you can add to it. Well, I'm looking for an awareness check. Okay? So it's going to be awareness, and I'm going to say it's probably going to be, I'll let you choose if it's intelligence or wits.
Take intelligence, please.
Okay. Because you're trying to think this through and think what your options can be. And you lost some time, and one of the residents is a vampire. Or at least a mystical weirdo. Maybe it's drugs, you don't know. But go ahead and make that check. I'm going to set the difficulty. It's pretty standard at 3. In this game, it's a dice pool system, so let's switch over so we can have a look-see at what that's all about. And we'll see what your dice rolls look like. I'm going to put your character on the screen for everybody to see. I hope you're okay with that.
Boy, I hope so. It's a bit late to back out now.
Let's see what your intelligence plus awareness looks like. We're looking for 3 hits on this. Your hunger's currently
This is not a.
just at 1. We'll talk about that
You're
later.
not procking this, right? This is a.
Don't
do it
have a
myself.
dice roller in this.
Sure. All right, I think I got it right.
Yeah. You're adding one to the other. There you go. Wow. Okay. So
Heyo.
that's pretty darn good.
I'll take that.
Turning into the gate that you just came out of, because the grounds are not closed off yet, is a familiar, slightly corroded, probably from the salt, white, wood-paneled Buick Roadmaster, 1991. Looks like a giant Tylenol. And it's turning into the facility, and you recognize that's your mom's car.
Oh, fuck. Fuck.
But hey, you noticed it by 1, so she did not see you, and you're absolutely certain that's the vehicle, because if there was any doubt, as soon as she goes under the big sodium lamp that's over the entrance, there's a gleam off of the crucifix hanging from the rear view. And it's actually a rosary, but the rest of the beads are wound up.
Mm-hmm.
And that gleam tells
But I
you
can see that little pewter Jeebus
Mhm.
hanging off his little stone cross
Uh-huh.
for my sins. I know that's my mom.
And then you see the profile and you realize her hair's in curlers, and she has the wrap over that.
Oh shit, she's in her house coat too.
She's
and
not in her house.
fuck.
Well, at least she knows how to dress for the weather. What do you do?
Go the other way. Hide from mom. Hide from mom. 1000% hide from mom.
Did you need to ask? I mean, what did we all do?
I cannot.
Avoid.
No.
Avoid.
Avoid.
Okay.
Dude, I'd be running for mom if it was a joint. I'm a goddamn vampire. We hiding.
It's a little worse than getting high under the bleachers.
This is way worse than a joint. This is way worse than banging a professor.
Well, the campaign has just begun, and we'll see what else we can check off the list.
Oh, no. Barbara's hiding from her mom's as long as she possibly can.
Yeah, the cold of the February air kinda hits you at this point. Now you're starting to feel how this shell you're inhabiting is different. So now you need to move, and it's a little tricky. You said you're running away from there. That means you're going up Elmwood. There's bright lights.
At this point, yeah,
of a
opposite
pizza
direction.
parlor. A pizza parlor between you and Mr. Goodbar so far. You look up, it's 2 for 1. 2 for 1 pizza deal. That's the name of the place, is 2 for 1. And it's got a big neon slice. One of the pepperonis is already burned out on the slice.
I don't think I'm hungry.
No, you're not hungry, but it's a place. You're not in danger of being
Yeah.
seen on Elmwood. Your mom's, fully half a block away at this point.
Yeah. Okay, well, I don't trust the crazy man that bit me. Don't really want to go face my mom with all this. Let me go. Let me.
You're right. Let your mom face
How far
it.
away is? Okay. I mean, no, she's a guest. She's not going to be unattended with a crazy inmate or whatever at the psych ward, right? Like I don't know what kind of mom bullshit she's going to pull through, because she could just show up and Karen her way through everything. I don't
Something
know.
like
But
that.
no, no.
Okay.
How far away is the shop my brother works at, the sandwich place?
About 2.5 miles.
I hop a bus.
You could absolutely hop a bus.
Yeah,
Okay.
go have words with him in person.
All right. You wait the let's say it's about 20 minutes before the 20 Elmwood comes on, and you get on the bus. And this time, you notice somebody in the front seat is nervously biting their nails, and you pay your bus fare, and bus driver waits a respectful 3 seconds before starting up the bus again. So you start walking back. It's kind of crowded. It's about half full. A lot of people sitting. You'll have to sit next to somebody is what it's looking like, unless you want to go to the way back. But you're really distracted by somebody in some of the seats that run basically parallel to the side, so they face each other rather than face forward or back. And somebody nervously biting their nails has torn their cuticle, and they're squeezing. And I'm gonna need you to deal with that.
like a vampire.
Well, we'll see. I mean, right now they have a seat next to them.
I mean, I feel like Barbara's plan will probably be to go strap hang towards the back and not engage, but Kravi right there, she might be distracted.
Let's let the level of your distraction, because sometimes the beast
Sure,
drive
let's see what
is
the
driving.
dice say.
Yeah, so let's let the level of your distraction and how long you stand there staring at somebody bleeding be a function of your, I'm going to say it's Buffalo. Eye contact can provoke people. 1990s. So let's make it composure. How about composure composure and streetwise? Or composure and etiquette, because this is more of a social thing. And it's impolite to stare.
I do know it's impolite to stare.
Yeah. This, however, is going to be a little easier, because they're not gushing blood, and you are not super, super hungry. You're still learning how this works.
Well, I've got 4 dots of composure, so that's lovely. And I think I'm going to go with etiquette because I got a dot there. But I
It
don't.
is your highest attribute, composure. I just noticed that.
So let's see if I can keep it together.
Ooh, the dice decided that lag was more dramatic.
Apparently, yeah. I was like, I dropped him. I heard him. There we go.
All right, still made it. One of your successes came from
Hunger Dice.
the hunger
Right.
dice, and it's basically what occurs to you. You start walking confidently towards the seats in the back, but it's almost as if the hunger had a voice and said, "That's not enough."
Okay.
But it was your voice. You just didn't think in those terms before. And as you sit in the back seat, there's one person in a rather long wool, like out of date, out of style, like 70s era London fog wool peacoat, okay, in the back. And they have under that they have a Buffalo Bills sweatshirt with a hoodie pulled low and kind of a big bushy beard. So you sit down, there's two seats next to them. You sit down with a seat between you. And there's a sweet seat between you and then another seat somebody has the window. So you're in the middle back row of the bus. And as you see the neon going by, thinking, well, I can deal with this. I got away. You hear a familiar now voice to your right. The beard is gone. The hoodie is gone. It's more sensible attire. The lab coat is still there. And he says, "Your mother came looking for you."
God, what the hell? I thought you were just a drunk Bills fan. Okay.
We can hide
So-
amongst them. It's helpful in our pursuits. And he looks a little gleeful, impish, childlike.
Our pursuits?
You must feed. I can only show you where the vitae is kept. And he looks at all the people on the bus. I'm not sure what form your hunting will take. I want to give you the opportunity to learn how to live with this. And the guards are going to tell your mother that they saw you yesterday. But they will forget that they saw you tonight.
Thanks.
We can cloud minds, we can wear other garments of memories, if you take my meaning.
Dude, I'm dead. I'm dead. You may be dead,
It's a living.
but not dead. What even is this? This is not in the textbook. This is not what even is this? I'm dead but not dead.
It's a half-life, if you will. Are we going downtown? Usually I feed at the hospital. I can show you how much easier that would be. Or am I to meet more of the family?
No, let's actually.
And you notice his
pulls the
tongue.
cord, and the next stop.
Ding!
Is on. Doesn't matter where it is. Doesn't fucking matter where it is. I'm not taking this guy to my brother. Absolutely not. Nope.
It's Bidwell Park. And you get out. It's perfect. We're going to stop right there. We're going to go around and meet some of the other characters in the neighborhood. Hope everybody's having a good time.
Bravo, my
So
friends.
much fun.
Yeah, my notes were Barb, psych, feed, sickness, and mom.
Hey,
It's
that
the sexy goblin of the vampire world. So, Teddy, it's a Tuesday night. It has been really, really cold, and there's a drag show tomorrow. There's just dance music tonight. There's 2-for-1 drink, or 2-for-1 2-for-1 Canadian beers, but it's pretty slow in here. And you're trying to remember if you've worked a Tuesday. You're not as new to the life. You've had your share of feedings. And you've learned to live with this. But maybe your relationship with your sire is equally problematic. We'll explore that a little bit more. But this is the underground. It's the underground of the world of darkness, so I'm going to portray it a little different than it exists in the real world. It is named because a large portion of it is in a basement that has a stage for bands and drag shows and a rather large dance floor. It also has a number of tables and, as you've learned, heavy, stout steel chairs. But a lot of times those are stacked and moved out of the way. Not stacked like a Knights of Columbus hall or something. They're not those kinds, but usually they can be moved when it's more dance focused night. There's only 8 4-top tables set up tonight. There's like a maximum of 30. And there's maybe 20 people in here. A few people dancing. The music's not even as loud as it sometimes is because bodies absorb sound. And you do have a friend in the bartender, and strangely, maybe strangely, the bartender is a very stout, very butch, powerlifting lesbian named Thunder. And she says, leaning over to you, she's like, "Can you cover the bar for a few minutes? I want to go out and have a smoke. Can't do that indoors anymore." Somebody got offended. Hope you're all right with that, Teddy.
Yeah, sorry,
You froze up.
I froze up on me for a second, yeah. So
Okay.
I missed her name
Thunder.
and what she said. So Thunder?
Uh-huh.
And I missed what she said.
Oh, she's the midweek bartender.
Yeah.
And she asked if you could cover the bar for a little bit. It's slow. And she wants to step out for a smoke.
Sure thing.
So you hop beside, and she's like, "Well, the glassware is clean. They're going to want another pitcher, but they'll come up and get it themselves. You should be fine here. I won't be more than 10 minutes. And she grabs her smokes from behind the bar. And curiously, she keeps her smokes in a kind of something that makes her look like she's 80. She's got one of those leather claspy purses with the little secondary purse to hold matches or whatnot. It's a long case too, which accommodates the 110s that she's into, the Marlboro Light 110s.
Too real.
And
No, why you calling out all my aunties? Why you
uh,
calling out every auntie?
we could
I feel my family targeted in this story.
we could do some genealogy here, and we'll probably find out we're related. Like that seems likely at this point. The I don't know. I can tap a vibe. I cast Summon Zeitgeist before the show. But she grabs that and she's like, "I gotta hit the pisser first." And she goes to the bathroom, and nothing happens for a little while. And a couple minutes later, you see her leave the bathroom and go through the kitchen door, and you feel the slight vibration and the whoosh of the air as the door to the outside is opened, and that airlock breach happens where the pressure changes in a building. Most people don't notice, but for the past couple seasons, you've noticed. get the strangest sensation. She's out there, crouching down, saying, "Hey, kitty, you're here again. I'll have some tuna out for you. I don't know if the rats got to it. Mind if I smoke? Hope you don't." And she's talking to this big old alley cat that you know, because this alley cat sleeps on you in the daytime and likes it when you put a little bit of your blood in the salmon. This is your, I believe they're called familius. It's the vampire equivalent of a familiar. A special kind of ghoul friend. Your man. You live alone with your cat. But at least
Relatable.
I feel like we've established that Teddy
My
is a
people.
confirmed bachelor, so living alone with his cat seems spot on.
okay.
I don't know if we were doing confirmed bachelor in 95, but I feel like Teddy and his cat are going to be just fine.
Some suburban preppies come up to the bar, be like, "Another pitcher, just something American, not Labatt's. I'm kind of tired of the Canadian beer." And you hear from the table in the back, "Get some Labatt's." "Not Labatt's. He's had so much he won't notice. Just give me some Budweiser or something, would you?" He's putting a 10 on the bar.
Grab the pitcher and over to the tap.
"Thanks." Goes on back.
And
He just gave you a pretty decent tip.
how much does the pitcher cost in 1995?
Let's say
I think it's like 2 pence in 1995.
2 pence. No, it's 4 silver. No, it's probably about $4.99, $5.99 here at the Underground on a Tuesday night. They had two.
New
Sounds
York.
special.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but hey, it's a $4 or $5 tip.
100% tip, even in the 90s. That applies.
That's
Well,
still solid.
congratulations, you found one nice person from Williamsville. It's one of the affluent suburbs of the city. Goes over to the
How drunk is that drunk guy? Does
The
he
dr-
look really drunk?
the drunk guy that was calling out for Labatt's? No, he didn't have a slur in his
Yeah,
voice when he called
okay.
out. He's just enthusiastic. He's at the point where he's had, 2-pint glasses of beer and wants to keep drinking that beer. But the person buying, at least the person buying tonight, has other tastes. And they're not causing any problems. They're really just having beer. One of them's trying to lure them into going to play darts because there's a little dart and pool table over on that L wing. Nobody's playing pool. My players have the ability to change the difficulty. I have the ability to clear the chat.
Sorry, found a button.
It is all good. I'm gonna go ahead and put that back.
I found a
on.
button, and then I pushed it, and then I pushed it, and then I pushed it.
Let's go with Ghoul Friend moving forward. Yes. Okay.
I like it.
So it's pretty quiet and a few minutes early. Like it's been 5, maybe 6 minutes. And you know that when she gets a break, she has 2. So she's cutting it short because I'm gonna cut to a cutscene out there where she's been talking for a while to the cat. Like, I don't know why she wanted to move in so fast. We had 2 great nights, and next thing I know, she wants me to.
Showed up with the U-Haul, the second date. I just don't know what's understood.
Oh, and she plays rugby? I mean, come on. Ugh. I haven't worn my Birkenstocks in years. Don't judge me, she says to Grim. And then she's about to light a second one and looks up and goes, "Shit," as a Lincoln Town car turns down the alley. And she comes running in. And she's like, he's here at night early. He's here for the take. And you're not quite sure who she means, but you might. I don't know. Let's have you make a roll. We're looking for. Actually, yours is going to be intelligence plus streetwise. I think that's appropriate. But Thunder's kind of unflappable, and she seems rattled.
Give me a moment. My fantasy grounds was going a little slow. You said intelligence streetwise.
Yeah. There we go. Ooh, that's pretty spicy. Okay. Yeah, you made it with a margin of 2. You know exactly who she's talking about. She's talking about Silvio De Laurentiis. Or one of Silvio's goons. And you know Silvio is kindred. In fact, you're certain of it because you know he's a Ventrue. You also know that he's connected by living blood to certain criminal syndicates that operate in the Buffalo area. A lot of them have gone legit by this point, and by legit I mean they have successfully set up legitimate business operations, laundering money through cash businesses and construction. What a great idea! If only the real world did it like that. Surely it didn't. And you also know that Wednesday, in fact, like the last Wednesday of the month, is when they come for their envelope. And they're a night early.
Teddy was just kind of staring off into space, like stroking his beard, thinking with his elbows on the bar when she rushes in, and when she comes in, she's obviously shaken. He just says, "Everything cool?"
No, it's not cool. And she's back basically on the floor behind the bar. There's a drop safe. She's like, this thing's on a timer. I don't even know if I can open it tonight. And she goes over to the register, pops the tray, looks. Like, this isn't going to be enough. She goes over to the other register, pops it. She's like, oh, she closes it. There's only $45 in there. I don't suppose you have $1,100 on you.
No, I'm afraid I'm kind of short. Not till I get paid. And even then, you know how much you pay me.
I'm going to the upstairs office. Stall for time.
I know I have an idea about the inner workings, right? This guy's supposed to be here tomorrow.
Yeah. The collection's supposed to be tomorrow, the last Wednesday of the month, and now we're playing fast and loose with time, and just basically doing scenes that took place in the past few weeks. We're not kicking it into a calendar date until we have to. You'll see why.
I mean, you're a low man on the totem pole. Ride it out. See what he's actually here for.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to reassure her. I'm gonna just be like, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's something else.
That's a thought. Okay, I like that. So Thunder leaves, runs upstairs. A few patrons come in, and you're still behind the bar. And while they're calling out drink orders, it looks like they came from a better time, and this is like their second stop of the night kind of bar. And while you're taking their drink orders, you see somebody enters who kind of sticks out. He's close crop hair on the sides, curls up top, a nicer sport coat, and a little too much Paco Rabanne. The cologne bites you in the nose as he enters, and he's looking around, basically watching you take drink orders, and it's a few drink orders. It takes
Check their IDs, right?
Yeah, totally. It's been because there's not even somebody checking at the door. Sometimes that's your job, but tonight it's nobody's job, so you check them at the bar. 2 of them are regulars, 3 of them you think you've seen before, 2 of them are new, but you get it all sorted, and you know get the pitcher, the long necks. They order red dogs because those are real trendy right now. One of them wants a Zima, but you're out, and
Shout out Zima.
Oh, Zima, we hardly knew you.
My sister had a whole Zima phase. It was,
And we had a Zima phase. It
I
was
got-
the 90s.
I got faced on Zima
now we
in the
have White
90s.
Claw, I guess.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind
no,
of
it
the
was the
same.
White Claw.
It really
No,
is.
it was Zima. It's wine coolers. It was Mike's Hard Lemonade. It was Limeritas, and now it's hard seltzers. Yeah, it's
Do you remember the
Pour one out for
Boku drink
Zima.
boxes for adults in the 90s?
Oh, hell yeah.
No.
what was that?
I remember the
Well, I wasn't
Skeletines
of age.
smart drugs. The smart drugs with all the herbal stuff like Damiana and Skullcap and Passion Flower. It was like
I feel like it was later, but I remember all the fake legal weed that was just killing dumbasses that bought that shit at gas stations. That was just it's like
Drop,
That's
drop
cute
your
story.
drop your favorite '90s getting
Yeah.
fucked up reference in the chat.
I was literally dealing weed and mushrooms, so I was like, good stuff.
nothing that'll hold up in
I
court.
didn't have to win.
no. You were allegedly dealing
Allegedly.
Yeah, no, I did not do that as a teenager.
My brother was
I never in
allegedly
jail,
slinging homegrown ditchweed at his elementary school.
yeah, the movie theater that I managed
Allegedly.
was totally legit.
Mhm.
Oh, the board.
Buffalo is awash in Tennessee brickweed right now, with the occasional
Merch, we call that.
There you go. The 90s.
When
All right,
they finish,
So no Zima.
and when they finish, and this gangster moves into the light, you're glad to recognize them as not being Silvio. This is Marcos, one of Silvio's soldiers, and you've heard Marcos's heartbeat. It's sluggish, as if it's pumping a little bit more than human blood, but it's probably a ghoul. And he leans on the bar. In case you don't remember who he is, he has a 20 curled up in his fingers. It's got it curled like this, but you can still see the pinky ring. It's a little black lozenge with a diamond in it. Onyx with a diamond pinky ring. Hey, come here. The boss is waiting in the car. Wants to go see his brother. Wants to give his brother a reassurance that this place doesn't need any additional protection.
Me? I just check IDs at the door, man.
And 10 bar, I see. It's the first time I've seen you back here. Is this a
Well, when
promotion
they
for
need
you?
me to.
They.
Just covering. Can I get you a drink?
Yeah, Jack and Coke. He leaves the
And I'll
20.
I'll grab it for him. Yeah, I'll grab it for him. No problem. Obviously, get him his change.
No. We understand we're a little early. I don't want to go back to the car with bad news. But he'll be back here in 4 hours with his brother. And he expects his envelope. Because in 4 hours, it'll be midnight, which means it's tomorrow. He downs it in about two swallows. Because the last thing Silvio wanted to do was come here with all the queens on stage. You understand? It's not a scene. It's unnatural.
You know, the drag shows are our biggest moneymaker. Those
say?
queens are making you pretty much everything we do in the week aside from Fridays and Saturdays, man.
I'll be sure and put it on my ledger. So does that mean we could squeeze for a little more? Since you're so flush with cash, you should kick some of that up. You know, for protection. So this
I
little
think you're
operation
squeezing
can-
hard enough.
See you in a few hours. And he puts the drink down and goes. Did this annoying thing where he clinked his pinky ring against it as he put it down. A little too hard. A couple ears perk up. The mortals in here not really knowing what's going on, but they probably just misread it as some sort of rebuffed flirtation or, something like that. But his body language seems to be walking away a little more confidently. Thunder comes running down, hastily stuffing the wrong kind of manila envelope under her coat to come back behind the bar. She's like, "What, did he leave? I had it."
They'll be back in 4 hours to collect.
Donnie's not going to like this.
I can't say I like it much either.
I'll tell him, though. All right? It's the least I could do for you. I really appreciate your help tonight.
What exactly is the protection they're giving us here?
That's it. Goes way back. You see, Little Bear, that queer culture has been protected by the mob, at least in this state, for a long time. We can be a little more open, but so can they, in their way. And this arrangement was made, as far as I know, in the 60s. This bar's been around a while. It probably goes back further than that, but I heard Donnie telling tales when I was a young twink, you've heard him go on. Before I was the queen you see before you. And she does her impression of Donnie, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
And what happens if we don't pay? They shut us down?
Haven't had any windows broken in a while, and nobody's been stabbed, and they keep most of the hard stuff out of here. Some coke in the bathroom, but come on. Is this Nitzer Ebb? Ugh. Some of the people are joining in with their own made up lyrics to this song over at one table. You hear swallow, spit, spit, and it's definitely Nitzer Ebb.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to handle them when they come back? Or do you want to help with that too, since you're so helpful? And she punches you in the arm, and it's a respectable punch.
I'd like to help any way I can, Teddy says.
Chad says we should drink.
And he kind of starts cracking his knuckles.
And we'll stop with the imposing shot of you cracking your knuckles and flexing your supernaturally enhanced physique. And we go to visit whatever could lure Beckett the artiste, Beckett the gourmand, Beckett the single source of the hardest to find musical selections in the greater Buffalo area. Nay, west of the Finger Lakes. What could lure him out of his record store on a cold March night in this in the winter of 1995 in the Queen City, when the snow is black and it's sleeting and it is 11 degrees out with a wind chill of something negative. What could lure him to a coffee shop in Allentown, of all places? It was trendy last year. Now it's kind of quaint. It's settled into a more board game and folk music crowd, which is not at all what you want to be doing. But at least they're playing some Sig Sig Sputnik. And
You got me.
but what could lure you out? Well, one of your contacts claims to have something you'd be interested in, and if you don't want to buy it, I think I will pay you to authenticate it, they say. So you find yourself in the Cafe Topical, hopefully meeting somebody who has a reel-to-reel of a Bauhaus demo. And you're not even sure what the story is, but you want to know if it is what they say it is. And this was the message they left on your machine, so that's why you're here at 9 o'clock. And the table next to you, some people are like, do you mind if we take that third chair? Because you've got 3 at yours.
I go.
They take it and they begin shuffling some collectible card game. They go to the bar and bring back their coffees. They buy large coffees, which is the same size as a small, but they give you these little wooden tokens for your second and third cup if you bought the large. And puts a stack of them there, and he's like, all right. Divvies them out. He's like, we'll play for these. This game was meant to be played with ante. You hear them arguing over the particulars of Tragic the Lathering, Sorcerer the Pretentious. You know, I'm not sure. They're playing Magic. And suddenly, somebody is in the doorway speaking, looking around for you. They see you and they come over, and they have an absolutely enormous army surplus green duffel. Not quite a full duffel bag, but a duffel with the straps and the grommets at the top. And they sit down and set it down, and inside it sounds like it has something heavy, like it has another smaller box inside. You recognize them as Wendell. Wendell is somebody who's come into the shop before. Doesn't buy. It's like they come in and they just want to talk and browse, but then every 5th or 6th visit, they spend a few $100s and keep the lights on. So,
Okay.
And they claim to have seen this band in Germany back in '86. They claim to they claim a lot of things. You're not sure how full of it they are.
Yeah, I was there. So
But tonight, they look around conspiratorial and say, Beckett, I've really got it. I can even tell you the history. Do you want to hear the history? So it's a reel-to-reel of Bauhaus demos from early '78. It seems Daniel Ash had them, and his luggage was lost or held in customs in Heathrow in the '80s. And this was put into a chest. It was shipped back. It was in France for a while with a bunch of Tones on Tail merchandise. But here they are. Here they are. And he opens the bag and pulls out this. It's one of those chrome knob over-engineered to look antique and durable, but it's really just super, super thin polychrome steel and vinyl made to look like some ancient chest, but its original purpose as it was made, was to hold CDs. And he has removed all of the CD ribs, and in there he has 4 reel-to-reels. And without looking at what's written on them, the yellowing of the adhesive and paper is encouraging.
Oh. In that case. Well, I suppose if I indulge you, you will be gone sooner. Bobby,
Yebby.
play it.
And your record store mentee, at least they think that you're their mentor. They may not know the full nature of your relationship, but they'll indulge you. And look at that, they brought a reel-to-reel and have it set up.
I mean, there's one always. It's always there.
Well, yeah, but you're at the Cafe Topical, so
Yeah, true.
yeah, that's just it. Like, what would lure you out?
You've been pried out of your lair.
A Bauhaus demo would
I feel like
lure
you
you out.
snapped for him
Mhm.
and ordered him forth and are confused when he is not there because you are never not in your record shop.
But no, I'll say Bobby is absolutely.
Yeah, so it's like it's a small one that I'm gonna have to listen to it on headphones. You know, it's yeah.
You listen, and it sounds like, at first, it sounds like somebody kind of ranting in the background, but it's turning a little snarky, and there's like a response. It does sound like Peter Murphy.
It does sound like Peter Murphy. It does, like, for sure.
Well, let's see. Everybody will get to make one dice roll that
I mean,
seems.
Beckett probably knows Peter Murphy, so
Dice, baby.
okay.
I'd say you came up together. You were sired together. No, but not gonna
Mm-mm.
cast real world people as vampires.
He's not.
I feel like Beckett's dice roll would actually be not whether or not it's Peter Murphy on the tape, but whether or not Beckett will admit that it is. How pissed is
Either
Beckett
that
if they are
or
out of their lair?
Okay.
yeah, whether or not Beckett can sell it for as much as if it was. It's one of the two.
You don't have to make a roll. It seems authentic, but whether you
Okay.
let that on might be composure plus performance, persuasion, intimidation, depending on how you want to play.
Beckett does not let that on.
Okay.
No,
So-
and I feel like he's somehow even more aloof now than he normally is, which is saying fucking something.
Mm-hmm.
But he has somehow managed it because he is that put out by having to be out here.
They.
They.
Wendell
thank you.
says, "If you're interested in this 5,000, I know what I have."
5,000. Really? That's adorable. And I will roll manipulation to talk them down.
Okay, manipulation
Like-
plus. What are you going for? Persuasion. We're still
Let's
playing
see.
nice. The claws aren't out.
Oh shit! That's just manipulation. I did
No,
it wrong.
that is.
Give me a second. Oh
Oh, actually, you made manipulation plus manipulation.
yeah.
I'm surprised it let you do that. Let's clear that and try again.
yeah. No, I got it. Manipulation and. Oh, persuasion, obviously. There we go.
Okay.
Wow.
That's clean. That's exactly what's needed.
So, how about 1,000? I
About 3.
have seen this before. 3. Cute.
The story is Daniel Ash started the tape running, and this was a rehearsal. How could you have seen it before?
I was there, you idiot.
I've listened to this on some pretty substantial equipment, and I didn't
Hmm.
hear any Euro trash pretension in the background. I'll take what I've got and go.
Okay.
You can tell he's bluffing. And he's like, okay, 2,000.
Bobby,
He's got the checkbook. Yes, B?
two.
Should I make it out for recordings of dubious quality as always?
Indeed.
Takes the check. I'm sorry, I'm just passionate about
Don't
music.
die.
And Wendell walks away a little rebuffed, but $2,000 richer, and you have access to something you didn't otherwise.
Yep.
And Bobby says, should I get us a cab?
Oh, that's a question.
See, ordinarily Bobby has a
I
car,
feel-
but it's like it's a Honda Civic, and it's in the shop.
I think Beckett doesn't have a car. Yeah.
And Bobby Bidwell
find that
is
very
happy
funny.
to drive for you and run
Mhm.
errands for you, but
Mhm.
they were kind of glad their car was in the shop because
Yeah.
they think highly of you.
Bobby, we will have to get you a car at some point. Cab it is.
An advance on my pay would probably help with that.
No. I pay you. Right.
Most of the time.
Okay. Fine. I give him $100 bill.
Been a while since you've been car shopping, isn't it?
Tweet. Apple?
And a cab pulls up, and you are whisked away into the night. The record store is still open, but you wouldn't know it to look at it from outside. The front lights have been turned off, and just the light by the cash register and counter in the back is still lit. Where another one of your retainers is working, or rather, was working right up until they fell asleep. There's the greasy waxed paper wrapper of whatever it was they ate, and that is a rule that they will need to be talked to about. Morgan.
Tap them on the forehead.
Oh, Beckett, you're back early. And they
Right.
gather up the mess they made.
That's a problem.
No,
I'm pointing at the greasy wrapper.
I set up all the albums before I started eating, and you
Hmm.
look. Broke another rule. They used one of those 3 album stackers that would drop one album onto the other
Oh, God.
with the armature that would then put the needle. Disrespecting the vinyl, and it looks like what they had on the platter wasn't bad. They had some they had Psycho Candy on there because you got to have your Jesus and Mary chain, but that's what 2 albums have now dropped on top of. So that hurts. And the other 2, we don't need to worry about. We can nerd out about music all night. We said we could probably do that for 2 hours, and we would lose everybody in the
That's true.
audience. Not everybody, but
Eh,
a lot of people
You'll
would be
lose me
like,
too.
"What?"
I'm
Tosses
not.
the
I'm not
record.
music nerd enough for that. I'm here
But
to.
the references are well placed, though. The references
Yes.
are well.
Mhm. Becca
As
just
the
tosses
out group,
record.
I love watching everyone else react when something drops that I don't get. So that's my
Okay, all right.
entertainment.
There you go.
So Beckett does what?
Beckett tosses the record. Just throws it across the room. And puts one on that's like right underneath the table that the player is on. That hasn't actually come out yet. It's the untitled single from 16 Horsepower from 1995. So it's like dun, 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 and the chorus is every man is evil, yes, every man a liar, unashamed with a wicked tongue, sing in the Black Soul Choir. And it's like it sounds like hillbilly music, but like super, super, super goth at the same time, and it's very confusing. And then Beckett like keeps walking that way.
And Morgan leans over to Bobby Bidwell and goes, "Is this about me?" And I think we
And you
can.
hear Beckett go, "Yep."
It's creepy how they can always hear us. Well, I'm gonna go. Okay, have a good one. Oh, you'll be paid at the end of the week? I'll tell them. We need a payroll system. Absolutely, you're right. And you can tell that Bobby is referencing a
Oh,
conversation that Morgan and Bobby have had. And they look at this!
what
Would you
do
just
you
look at it?
need? What do you need? No, I will not. I will not look at this. What do you need?
The 200 a week we agreed on would be nice. And Morgan is wearing a ratty but actually aged, not bought, distressed Misfits t-shirt.
Oh, adorable.
But the one thing you like about this Misfits t-shirt, of course, it's just got the Scully face on the front, but on the back it has some lyrics. And
Crimson Ghost, please and thanks.
you respect that. And it was purchased at a show. You know that as well.
Mhm. There is some cash and maybe some drugs in that one Charles Mingus, the clown, for the record that nobody touches. They buy all of his other records. They don't buy that one. That should be enough. That should be sufficient. How that?
This will complete my collection. I have Mingus on Mingus.
Oh, I didn't say you could take the record. No. If you open it, there's cash, and there are illicit items inside. You can sell those for more cash.
So
You see,
opens the album and $400 silver certificates
horrible.
fall out. 2 joints from a Fleetwood Mac concert.
From the 70s. Like this,
and a
these are
10
not
strip.
fresh.
And a 10 strip.
And a 10 strip of freshness questionable acid. I gotcha.
Yeah. Corners maybe yellowing.
It is Charles Mingus, so definitely some acid.
I'll take the acid. Oh, Von Tassel
If
came
you
by.
don't sell it,
Said they'll try to reach you later this week.
fine.
No, he was here at about 9:30.
No, shit.
And then the phone rings. And
What's with this?
Bobby and Morgan look at each other. Bobby goes, "What's the name of your record store?"
The oubliette.
The Oubliette. Drop in. Oh, okay. Hold, please. And Bobby puts his hand over the mouthpiece and goes, "It's Von Tassel. Are you here?"
Oh, Fox. Yes, I am here.
He hands you the early 60s Bakelite phone receiver.
Bakelite. My favorite word.
What color bake light? What color bake light?
Deep,
Oh,
deep green.
black.
Oh, so green,
Oh,
so green
no.
it's black.
Actually,
No, I love like a
Mhm.
deep like that. Yes, yes.
Mhm.
Thank
It
you.
used to be like that 60s green, but now it's kind of
It has aged into a
Like-
goth black.
yeah. And Beckett is going to pretend like they don't know who it is. Like they're gonna ignore the whole song and dance and be like, "Can I help you with something? I
It is
would
I.
really like to get this over."
It is I that can help you with something. I'm going to be going to Toronto for a few weeks.
Ooh.
But the Lodge wanted you to know that you will be their liaison should they choose to make contact with the prince.
Do I absolutely have to? Because I really don't
Something
care.
about oldest blood on that side of the fence. Yes, I think you do.
Fine.
And off board, you know that the Lodge and the prince haven't really been in communication for quite a few months. That somebody
Okay.
said something, and all of the Tremere basically went and hid in their mansion and put up a whole lot of blood magic that keeps other vampires away. And now they're sending one of their ghouls out of town.
Okay.
What else is also curious is Toronto is not Camarilla territory. That is kind of the capital of the Sabbat in the east.
Mm.
So
No, so it's extra.
we lost someone. We lost a Sandy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I can't switch to four up
Damn it.
in real time.
We do have weather rolling in.
Hope she comes back fast. Sorry about that, y'all. We'll
Thank you.
try to keep rolling with it. We're coming up towards our stopping point, but we still want to. Hey, would somebody go ahead and call in? Thank you. The old ways. We'll use the old ways. Thanks for sticking with us out there in Chatlandia. Really appreciate you. Hope you're having a good time. This game is a lot of fun, creepy, atmospheric. Can be a kind of a slow burn, and I've run a few of these. I've played in a few. I'm really fortunate that I got to play it before I ran it, which is my favorite way to become a GM is doing it that way. Awesome, thank you. And now that Arthur is in the storyteller position, I guess we'll just let him know. Just kidding.
So anyway, Tom dies quickly and painfully.
Aww. There, we can hold out with this for now. It says Arthur, but we're
Hey y'all, I'm Arthur. That's
We're making
my
do.
real life name.
And Von Tassel does not say goodbye, just ends the call. But the news is kind of chilling. You didn't know of any Sabbat entanglement, so maybe it's not about that.
Yeah.
But it has to be. Sending your ghoul in your magical circle, your ghoul to a hostile territory, and then telling you that they will consider you their liaison just because he's been shopping at your store. But you don't have the. You're in danger, Beckett. You're being perhaps inconvenienced at the very least. So you've got that to think about.
Yeah. Being inconvenienced is a big deal for Beckett. I think Beckett is like very.
How about that?
Worse than actual death.
Yes. Wow.
This is like the time I had
Here
to
we
listen to the
go.
Grateful Dead for an hour and a half.
Woohoo! All right, you can cancel your call there,
5 minutes was enough.
Thank you, thank you.
Here we go.
Oh, that's just funny that it keeps wanting to. There we go. And we're back to let you know we can really shake it down. Welcome back, Sandy. Glad you could jump back in.
Welcome, welcome.
We're coming up on the home stretch. We've got one more cast member, one more cast to introduce. And to contrast with all of the other dark and dimly lit that we've had, we find ourselves at the only occupied desk in a computer lab lit with fluorescents that hum at 60 hertz. And the two monitors that you have in front of you, Jane, one displays financial data for a certain property in the 700 block of Delaware Avenue, an old stonework mansion that's currently the headquarters of the American Red Cross in Western New York. And the other monitor is how you've been making sure that there are, to put it in spycraft terms, dead drops of blood bags in a to be disposed bin that you then go and help yourself to. But what you're noticing, you started your little scheme to get blood bags because you're one of the few undead that can stomach them. Most people are either derive no sustenance for their eternal existence, or they're repulsed or revulsed by blood of that type. But you have the physiology that can handle it, and you have the computer skills to make arrangements. But you started your grift how long ago?
5-ish years, probably. It's been a minute now, a couple of years at least.
Now you see a pattern you didn't see before. In that
What's
it looks
this?
like somebody else has been doing the same thing. You ran a count to see how many were disposed of, and you're like, all right, well, that's
That doesn't
146.
match what I've taken.
Should only be 70 in that time period. It's a little over double.
Start checking the timestamps.
Well, somebody else is working hours to change, working late hours to change that. So you pull up some of the other caching. It's 90s era hacking. If you want to imagine the horrible sound of a modem in the background, it's real. I mean, they've got an ISDN line here, but imagine what you want. As long as you don't have two people typing on your keyboard, I'll watch your sci-fi. So if you want to go ahead and make a fancy computer type roll, woo, that exists too. So it's going to be technology, because I believe your technology is hacking. And go ahead and make that with intelligence. But this is a trickier pattern, so this is the first difficulty number of 4. Not too shabby.
She leans in close.
Somebody else has been doing the same thing, but they've been doing it on site on Delaware.
From where? Yeah, in-house.
In-house.
Somebody's inside the building.
Mhm.
The calls are coming from inside the building, she
And
says.
As it would happen, it's your night to go and get some of those bags. It's grocery shopping night.
And as you say, she picks up her big gulp and
Slurps the last
runs
of the typo.
dry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not typo negative. Settle down. So you make your way there, and you make ready to leave and shut down you know, it's quasi legal what you're doing. It's you didn't make a big financial transaction, move it from here to another traceable big financial plate. Like you can do a lot of stuff that
No.
isn't
Just
going to
helping
be
them
detected.
clean up. Just helping them clean up the records a little bit. You know, there's some false positives, some duplicates. We just had to like make sure everything jives how it's supposed to.
And you want to make sure that it fits with the new guidelines that are coming out that the federal government is helping to put in place that protects people. But yeah, as you're making ready to leave the computer lab, you bump into Dr. Josephine, the head of the lab, who has their laptop bag with their Power Mac in there, and they're all ready to go in and do their thing.
No time for love, Dr. Joe, she says.
Oh, I was hoping to work together. You're keeping the same kind of hours I am now. What's your secret?
You know, I drink the blood of the living.
Well, I enjoy grant money. It's kind of the same thing. Hey, listen, if I'm asleep, just turn the lights off, okay?
Roger that.
She goes to set up and begins plugging and unplugging a number of pieces of equipment.
Oh, she says, there's going to be some updates to the software next week. I'll remind you, don't you worry.
I saw it on the calendar, but I'll still need a reminder.
Yeah.
Oh, and lock up on your way out and watch out for weirdos.
My favorite kind, she says.
So she making her way downtown, moving fast, sorry. Going around to the backside where the street light is out, or it's on so dim as to provide no real light, and you go, same way as always, into the door where the bin is. It's like one door you got to go through, and there's the drop box, and you open it, and there should be 4 bags in there, but there isn't. There's a note written.
0 bags.
1 note for your trouble. And by note, I mean it's a newspaper, and it's folded newspaper style, but it's been opened and put on a certain page and then folded, and that's when you see that it's an old newspaper. It's the Courier, or the Courier Express. No, the Courier Express. Either way, it's not around in Buffalo in 1995, so that tells you that this is somebody who had access to old papers.
Old shit.
But it's open to the crossword. And the crossword is a reprint from the New York Times crossword. And instead of filling out the crossword, it just says, "We need to talk." And as you pick it up fully, you feel the sensation of something falling out of it, and a key drops into the bin. And you recognize it as a key to this building, but you're not sure what door it opens. You do know that this building's old. It has a number of secret corridors in it. A lot of the castle-like mansions that were built in what they call the Second Empire movement of architecture. You're in danger.
She whispers to herself, fucking vampires. As she takes the key and pulling out a surprisingly large janitor's key ring, flips through till she gets to the Red Cross building, and then slots it in for the unfiled section.
It almost matches the keys, so it's definitely in this building somewhere, but you could get in and start exploring.
I mean, she's always up for an adventure in a building.
Her hunger.
Might as well.
Your hunger's a little higher than your character sheet shows too. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, she was ready to feed again. No, I feel like there had been a slump in the amount of donations over the past month, so she had to do a little tightening of the belt, and this 4 bags was supposed to cover her, and now there's nothing.
So you bravely go inside, and it's a little later at night for you. It's around midnight, and buildings abandoned. The lights are on standby mode, so they're very dim. There's a full bank of switches, but you know not to hit them. You walk up and make your way and try this key, and after about 15-20 minutes, you find a door that key opens, and sure enough, it's in the sub-basement. And when you open it, there's this coolness that comes out. This damp, and it's pitch black in there. It takes you a few moments to let your eyes adjust, even your eyes, and you realize there's a staircase down to a sub-basement that was not on the plans. You've seen the blueprints for this building. Sub-basement, yeah, you knew. Basement, sub-basement.
I have them at home, pinned to my wall.
This is a different one.
The trepidation of being in danger becomes mixed with the excitement of exploration.
As you make your way down the stairs, they slightly rattle. They haven't been refurbished. They may be original from the
It's time
1870s.
to be quiet.
Oh, good. We'll say that you do your best being quiet. And how do you let the door close behind you?
No, she pulls a small roll of duct tape from her military surplus satchel and carefully tearing a strip off, tapes the doorstop, but
Okay.
not so that it does not wrap around to either face. The door still looks as it does,
Okay.
but she slowly allows it to shut without clicking closed.
And to your credit, it is quite quiet. Bravely, you start to make your way down the stairs.
Hungrily, more like.
You reach a landing, and it's a turn to the right, and it descends another 4 steps before stopping on what feels to be a rough, unfinished, let's say unfinished, floor. And
Interesting.
there's a cloying scent in the air. It's dank. It's very basementy, but it's beyond the dust. There's also this sewer gas undercurrent. It's not predominant, but it's there nonetheless. So you know there's
Exciting.
probably a drain in here. And before you can see anybody, you get a sense that this is just a small, maybe 1 or 2 room sub-basement. And you hear a voice that says, "Did you really think there wouldn't be a vampire here?"
Damn.
And there's this feel of the air changing pressure as somebody walks up to you, and their pinprick red eyes glow ever so slightly, and their bearded, craggy face has a very unkempt appearance. And they, like you, appreciate the army surplus because they have an old army jacket on. And they hold something up, and at first you think weapon, at first you think threat, at first you think fight, and they go, "You're in my house. Feast." And they hand you one of the big lab-sized bags, not the donation bags, but the big ones.
It doesn't fit in my cup. Miss Jane, as she very carefully tucks it into her satchel.
Pulls another one and feeds as well.
I was waiting. I started leaving a more obvious trail.
And they're going to town and squeezing out the remainder of it.
Jane studies this person as she also slakes her thirst.
My name is Lester.
Jane.
Good to meet you.
Reaches out a hand, and it's a human gesture, a handshake.
Jane does a secret handshake style jive turkey. Slap, slap. Boom. Ah.
Lester grabs your hand, slides up to the grip, closes as a fist, pops it, points it, shoots it, falls back.
Okay.
You notice
What's happening, Les?
their claws are a little long.
I know. I heard through the grapevine that the prince is going to have a big to-do.
She says, who? As she takes another drink.
The prince. You've not escaped their scrutiny all this time, you know. They know of you.
And if I were to describe this person, homeless vet.
I mean, yeah. Jane's probably a little surprised that she doesn't recognize him.
I don't get out much. We should, take the air. What do you say?
And as you walk the stairs, you notice Lester makes no noise on these stairs. Really just seems to be going through the motions of walking upstairs, but you don't actually hear or see any contact of their feet on the stairs.
Fucking vamp.
And as they get to the top of the stairs, you realize something was following you up the stairs. Scampering, hopping.
Oh, don't mind Trixie.
As a huge gray rat jumps the last step and lands in the pocket of Lester's coat. And they take you outside into the night air and say,
Jane takes her duct tape as they leave. This door will not remain unlocked.
You shouldn't do that. That's how they caught the Watergate burglars.
and that is, I think, where we will stop for tonight. We'll see you next week as our Vampire Chronicle continues. I want to give some shouts out to, I want to thank Kevin MacLeod and the fine people over at Incompetech for the use of their song Gearhead and some others. I'm going to go ahead and drop the attributions. Feral Angel Waltz. Also want to give a shout out to Alexander Nakarada and everybody here in the chat, and to all my cast. Thank you so much for checking us out. Thank you to Smiteworks for Fantasy Grounds. It is doing the heavy lifting. It's a lot easier to learn a rule set. It's a lot easier to teach a rule set when you have a good virtual tabletop to show people. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and drop those credits there. And hope you had a good time. We will see you next week. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Love to have you here.
Good night.
Whatever. Yeah, I guess.